Hi guys, this is Dr. Christine, and today I'm going to be speaking about the dismissive avoidant attachment style individual. So this is the style that will have a lot of difficulty in relationships. Most styles that are not secure will have difficulties in relationship. So I'm going to be kind of giving you some of the problems and the challenges that this attachment style has, and how it is that they maybe begin to kind of change this attachment, just to be aware of it and how to begin to change it into being more secure, a more secure individual. Please, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And the like, please, that helps. The algorithm is what YouTube says, the more you like it or whatever it is. So if you could do that for me, I'd really appreciate it. So basically, the dismissive avoidant attachment style individual is, there are two things that really stick out when you meet them. They have a strong desire for independence, their independence, and self-sufficiency, meaning they don't like asking for help. They find it difficult actually asking for help. So they also want to be able to go and come as they wish, right? And they don't like to have that somebody really kind of holding them into a place where they feel suffocated, because they easily feel suffocated in relationships when they have a partner who is going to always require that they're here at a certain time, all the time, always be in their space kind of thing. They need that independence to be able to go and come when they start to feel emotionally really kind of overwhelmed. And so those are two of the things that you'll notice when you meet someone with this attachment style, which is the dismissive avoidant attachment style, right? So basically, as human beings, we all crave intimacy. We all crave some kind of connection. And these kids, these adults now who when they were kids, they crave that attention from their caregivers, but they didn't get it. They didn't get it. And that's why at this point, they are now so self-sufficient and independent of others that it doesn't really bode well for other relationships they're now forming as adults, right? Especially intimate relationships. So all of that kind of trauma of not getting their needs or that affection and emotional connection and intimacy from their parents, they grew up learning to really soothe themselves. They grew up learning not to depend on others to soothe them or to help them with anything. So you'll see that these, when they were kids, they would play alone very well. They for long hours, they will be focused on something and they will not need anyone. That is after they've learned that they cannot depend on their caregivers, right? So now as adults, they have really perfected the art of being a loner. They're very much comfortable. They want the intimacy sometimes, right? They want to have it, but they kind of want to have that intimacy on their own terms. And their own terms is usually that they can come and go as they wish. They are not really answering to anyone. They're independent. They can, feel like they don't want to feel claustrophobic and suffocated in a relationship. And also, they don't want that, they are one that they find it difficult to ask for help. They couldn't ask for help when they were kids. When they asked for help, it was shunned or ignored. So they learned that they had to give what they want to themselves. So they found ways of solving that problem. And so they may even look at their partner, who may always be asking for help, as weak. And they will look at their partner who wants that intimacy and thing that they've learned, they've outgrown, and have formed other ways of soothing that need for intimacy. They found other ways. It could be negative ways like pornography or masturbation or illicit sex all over, with people that they're not connected with really emotionally. So these are like one night stands kind of thing. Might even be very they're into things that don't require a lot of emotional energy, such as I say, one night stands, gaming, activities that gives them that high of emotion without the responsibility and the requirement from another individual consistently needing that emotional thing from them. That drains them. And so this is how you'll notice that this individual has this attachment style, and that individual could be you. So if this is you, then you do have a lot of work to do, because the difficulty with someone with an dismissive avoidant attachment style is that, as I say, you don't like to ask for help. You find it very uncomfortable to ask for help. And when you need help as someone who wants to change their way of reacting and responding in relationships or life, for example, you're going to need to become vulnerable to ask for help. And this is one of the biggest challenges for the dismissive avoidant attachment style individual. They don't like to ask for help. So but when it comes to coaching or therapy or counseling, they may be one of the least least likely to ask for help with to get help in their relationships or with any problems whatsoever, because they have learned to solve their problems themselves. The only thing is that with this kind of a problem, they've become so used to it. You've become so used to it, responding in this way, and unless you are aware that your actions are causing some major problems in relationships and looking to realize that, who is a common denominator in all of these problematic relationships? Well, it's you, right? I mean, yes, there may be other issues from other partners, right? But you have to also be very self-aware, which is not usually something that the dismissive avoidant individual can do, because they're only looking to soothe themselves and take care of themselves, and it's all about me, taking care of me. When I'm happy, when I'm this, when I want to be alone, I want to be alone, don't leave me alone, that's it, kind of thing. And so to become vulnerable enough to ask for help is very difficult for this attachment style. It's probably better for them to get a book or something, which I have a book, guys. I have a book, it's called Dismissive Avoidant, and that is on Amazon. It's with a person with their hands like that. I don't have the book with me now. I didn't know I was going to talk about it, but it's, you see Dr. Christine Chinsim as the author. So it's a very, actually it's quite a very layman's term kind of book. And so what happens is that when you read that book, you'll get the idea of how to identify if this is who you are, or if this is who your partner is. And then I have, I think, about 10 exercises that you do, and you can do that on your own in your privacy of your home, because this I find is more beneficial for someone with this attachment style rather than to come to a coach or someone like me to help them, because it is very difficult for them to open up and become vulnerable in these kind of situations. They don't like to feel like they're weak or they're vulnerable or need somebody else to soothe them. And so this is where they find and they have difficulty. So for them, as I say, we all have this need to feel like we want relationships, and they do want that kind of a love, but they kind of want it on their own terms. They don't want to feel too emotionally connected to the person. They do very well with their surface level relationships. So, but of course, most other attachment styles, they want that connection, they want that intimacy, and the avoidant individual, even though they want the intimacy, they don't want the responsibilities, you might call it, that comes with it, or the commitment is probably a better word, that comes with that emotional connection from a partner, right? The idea of them getting too close can be very terrifying. I mean, simply terrifying. And so they will have this wall. They will have this wall up, so you can come this close but no closer, kind of thing. There's a wall. You always feel this invisible wall when you're in a relationship with someone with this attachment style, because it's like this wall. They have this wall up because they don't want you to come too close, because the moment you come too close, then they start to feel very overwhelmed with that emotion, or very and you might notice after a particularly really nice time you might have had, and you thought at this time, oh my goodness, he's warming up or she's warming up, and she's actually being vulnerable and letting go, and they may have slipped for a while, but when they realize that they've slipped, they will realize, oh my God, no, this is terrifying. It becomes very terrifying, that emotional thing, and so they will back away and hide away. They may just disappear, out of your life for a while. Sometimes not even wanting to be around you for like weeks, right? Until it's that like they have to go back and self-soothe and kind of recalibrate to come back into a relationship. And a lot of times they come back, but it's really very painful for the partner that they're in relationship when this happens, right? So individuals with a dismissive avoidant attachment style may have a hard time forming close, intimate relationships because they're afraid of being hurt or losing that independence, that autonomy that they have when, they need that autonomy. They need to be able to just get away when they want to, they feel like it. And so they have a hard time forming close, intimate relationships. They may also struggle with trust. They did not trust their caregivers, parents, whoever it was, to be there for them. So now in their adult relationships, they don't trust that their partner will be there for them. It carries over. You see, until someone is healed from a certain trauma, it's going to carry over into every single relationship. And that is what happens with all these different attachment styles. If you don't work on you, you're going to carry it over into other relationships. Now, the moment you start to work on you, then you can not only be better able to control your usual ways of responding to trauma, but you are also able to identify the individuals that you may be entering relationship with and say, well, no, this is not going to be a very good partner for me, because this is going to be toxic. These are my needs, and this person cannot provide what I need to be happy, and you cannot provide for them because they won't allow it for them. So you have to, when you're healed, you can identify these things easier, so you don't keep going around and around the same mountain over and over and over again, because that's what happens when you're not healed. You keep making the same mistakes and meeting the same people in different bodies and having the same problems over and over and over again. It is time you get out of that toxic cycle, guys. Make an appointment with me. We can work out how you work together and get yourself healed, because this is life, and this is a lot of trauma can happen from this, and you're just keeping the trauma alive by not healing. The next thing, guys, is that I'm going to give you a few tips on how to kind of you've learned how to kind of recognize this attachment style in yourself and in your partner. And so when you're trying to heal, beginning to heal, first of all, you have to the first thing is that you have to become aware and acknowledge that this is true. There's something that needs work. I need to work on. Look at the things that you keep doing over and over. Make a list of those things that you keep doing over and over again in every single relationship, and those things that that always cause some kind of a problem in your relationship. What are those things? Write those down and recognize, guys. One of the biggest things is that you need to recognize and come to a place where you recognize that it is okay to need others. We are human beings. That's how we were created. We need community. We need relationships. We were not created to be a sole person walking the earth like, I don't know, but we were created to have relationships and community and social interaction with other people. So recognize that it's okay, and that you can now change, even though at the beginning of your life you felt that was a survival thing that you did, was to learn how to self-soothe so you didn't need others. But now you can try to open up, right, by recognizing that you need others. And if you're with someone or you're meeting someone for the first time, you have to come to a place where that, yes, this person might hurt you. It's possible, it's life. Because even if you are perfectly okay, like a secure individual, any relationship you go in, right, you could be hurt, right? It's no any relationship. It could be a family relationship, it could be a business relationship. It's just a part of life. Recognize that. Okay, so I might go into this relationship, but let me give this person the benefit of the doubt and go in. Just giving of myself and trying to, once you find that you're comfortable with this person and you have a relationship with this person, well, you could explain to that person that, you do have a little problem. And that's vulnerability, really, to actually acknowledge that, I do have a little problem being vulnerable. So I'm going to ask for you to kind of remind me and talk, and say to me in a nice way, because one of the biggest things with a dismissive avoidant attached individual also is that they fear rejection and criticism. It's not something that they like. They don't do very well with criticism, and even if it's just an observation. So you have to be very careful about when you speak with someone, like this, because they take any kind of a negative response to whatever is happening as a criticism, right? And so they have to learn that you as a dismissive have to learn that it's not really the person didn't mean it that way, or if they did say it in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, then you say it to them. I understand this is what you're saying, but you could have said it in a better way, because what you've done is hurt my feelings, whatever it is, right? But you need to speak. But in the case of when you're not healed, what you do is you just kind of back away and you don't even have a conversation, because, for example, that conversation is going to be very uncomfortable for you, because you don't like confrontation. You prefer to just go and leave the area and leave the person or whatever it might be. And so even that first response of just saying to the person that what you said or what you did kind of hurt my feelings, that is actually learning to become vulnerable and being able to have a discussion, because it is something that you're not normally comfortable doing, right? So, and the next thing is really just trying to be open to learn to be open to feedback, and recognize that it's not criticism. It's not always some criticism, right? Don't take it. It's a change in mindset that you're going to have to do now, and say, okay, it's just feedback. Okay, what is this person's giving me feedback? What are they saying? Is this true? And because sometimes people can say things that are not true. They're just mean, right? So you have to also recognize that, okay, it can be feedback, and so what can I learn from this, what this person says, if this is true? How can I change what I'm doing, right? But all of this requires you to come to a place of vulnerability and really focusing on actually working on you. And if you haven't come to that place, these things are going to be difficult. So the first thing is to become aware of it and become ready, really ready to really move forward in a better place, and going to learning to become more secure, doing things that are make you more secure in a relationship. The next thing is that you don't trust relationships, right? So that is another thing. You have to really learn to recognize that your past should not. I know it did, and it has up to this point probably, but your past is not necessarily going to make everything else in your future the same as your past. So you recognize that your past is not really should not dictate your future. You can change that, and you're the only person who has the power and the option to do that. Only you can change that, right, guys? So realize that you that you can trust. There's some people that you can actually trust. Not everybody is going to be out there to harm you, hurt you, do stuff to you, right? Building trust is going to take time and effort. It is not going to be something overnight. Remember, you've been doing this and living this way all your life. Nothing changes overnight. So what is good is that if you've reached to this place where you really need help, it's really good to get someone who you're comfortable working with. Speak to therapists, speak to counselors, speak to coaches, and see who you fit with. There are people that you will just have a connection with that you can actually feel comfortable speaking to, right? You can start with me. Email me at Leverage for Change. It's LEVERAGE, the number 4, CHANGE @gmail.com. And what I do normally with my clients is that I give them a half an hour, 30-minute free consult where you're able to ask any questions you want, pricing, timing of how the coaching goes, what we work on, sort of thing. You kind of tell me what your issues are, what you want to work on. We kind of talk about certain things, and then we make the appointment and we kind of work if you decide to work with me. So it's pretty, it's a win-win. You get to talk to me, see if you're comfortable with me. I really haven't had anyone who hasn't been. So if you're comfortable with working with me, because I do this because I love to do it. I love to help people. I don't do it for financial means. Of course, I need to pay my bills, so I need to charge. If I was a independently rich, wealthy person, I wouldn't have to, right? But I'm not. And so So what happens is that you call me, we make an appointment, we see how we work together, and see if you want to work with me, and then we go forward. All right, so I hope that, guys, that you learned something about someone with this dismissive avoidant attachment style. And I hope that you, whether it be you or your partner, that you will seek the help you need, because really otherwise you're just going to go through the rest of your life with all of this trauma bottled up and having these negative and toxic relationships with everyone, and not really being able to really form healthy relationships if you're not going to work on changing certain problematic behaviors that came from your childhood traumas. So again, guys, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, so that as soon as I upload a new video, you will get notified. This is Dr. Christine, your Leverage for Change. And take care until next time. Bye-bye.